Hello, my name is Marilyn Monroe. Born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles, I entered this world in the shadow of uncertainty rather than under the bright lights of Hollywood. My mother Gladys struggled with severe mental illness and was often absent, leaving me to navigate a childhood marked by foster homes, an orphanage, and the constant ache of abandonment. No one whispered that I was beautiful or special as a little girl. I felt invisible, unwanted, carrying the heavy silence of instability and the echoes of whispered abuses that would follow me into adulthood. Yet even in those dimly lit rooms and lonely nights, the magic of the silver screen became my sanctuary. Movies lit up my imagination like nothing else could. I would stare at the glowing figures and promise myself, someday, I'm going to be a great movie star. That quiet spark of ambition was my first act of defiance against a world determined to dim my light. At just 16, desperate to escape the orphanage, I married my neighbor James Doherty. It was a practical arrangement, but the boredom was suffocating. When World War II took him away, I found work in a munitions factory. There, a photographer spotted me, and for the first time, the camera saw something in me. I transformed. Platinum blonde hair, straightened curls, a new name, Marilyn Monroe. Modeling opened doors to small roles, but Hollywood was merciless. Studios tried to cage me as the dumb blonde, a pretty face without substance. I refused that label. I studied method acting with Lee Strasberg, devoured books by Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Freud, attended intellectual salons, and fought relentlessly for better roles and fair contracts. I even founded my own production company with Milton Green to seize control of my destiny. Behind the famous smile was steel. I learned to walk as a baby and I haven't had a lesson since. My breakthrough arrived with films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and The 7-Year Itch, where my iconic white dress scene over the subway grate became pure Hollywood legend. Some Like It Hot brought me a Golden Globe, and Bus Stop proved to critics that I possessed real depth and vulnerability. I wasn't merely a sex symbol, I infused every performance with humor, humanity, and emotional truth. My films earned millions, but more importantly, I challenged the rigid norms of 1950s America. I embraced my sensuality openly, turning it into a source of power. I supported civil rights, stood by Arthur Miller during his HUAC testimony despite the personal and professional risks, and used my platform for causes greater than fame. I was determined to be seen as an artist and a thinker, not just an image. Of course, the blinding spotlight cast long, dark shadows. 3 marriages ended in heartbreak. The relentless pressure to be perfect, layered atop unresolved childhood trauma, fueled battles with anxiety, insomnia, depression, and dependency on pills. I often felt profoundly lonely even in crowded rooms, misunderstood by those who reduced me to my glamorous facade. There were nights when the weight felt crushing, when I questioned everything. Yet I kept rising, for the camera, for my fans, and for the frightened girl I once was. As I reflected, imperfection is beauty, madness genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. Through triumph and tragedy, I forged something eternal. I became more than an actress. I became a cultural icon who redefined American femininity, beauty standards, and women's autonomy. My hourglass figure and radiant smile inspired generations to embrace their bodies and desires without shame. Historians now recognize me as a proto-feminist, a self-made woman who battled the studio system and left an indelible mark on art, fashion, and popular culture. My image, immortalized in Andy Warhol's art, posters, films, and endless tributes, continues to captivate the world. I embody the duality of vulnerability and strength, the American dream wrapped in glamour and grit. Visionaries like Gloria Steinem saw in me a woman ahead of her time, opening vital conversations about mental health, objectification, and resilience that still echo today. Even after my death on August 5, 1962, my legacy endures as a testament to the power of authenticity, ambition, and resilience. Young people today rediscover me not merely as a blonde bombshell, but as a symbol of body positivity, creative control, and the courage to be fully yourself in a world that tries to box you in. I proved you can be sexy and smart, playful and profound, broken yet unbreakable. America shaped me, and in return, I helped shape its cultural soul, showing that true icons are born from struggle, shine brightest through adversity, and continue to inspire long after the final curtain falls. If this story touched your heart and inspired you, subscribe to Epic Icon AI, turn on the notification bell, and never miss a new powerful woman's journey. Their stories, their songs, epic woman icons. The series continues.